Let's continue the NBA conversation. The Chicago Bulls came up 1 point short to the Dallas Mavericks, 99-98. Jimmy Butler, a solid game, 24 points. But let's take a look at what happened on the final possession. Bulls down 1. Butler appears to hold the ball too long, eventually gets knocked away, gets over to Dwyane Wade. Wade, with time winding down, has to throw something up. It was a decent look, but did not go. Just a disappointing loss for the Bulls. Second time this season they've lost to the Dallas Mavericks. What is your take on what happened in those final seconds?
Yeah, I mean, you got to give the ball to Jimmy Butler. I know it's Dwyane Wade's birthday, but that's a lame excuse to give Dwyane Wade the ball at the end of the game. It did go off his knee. What I didn't like was the setup of the play. You know, Wesley Matthews went to Marquette, so did Jimmy Butler, right? So they've played against each other hundreds of times in the offseason throughout the years. I think with the other personnel that's on the floor, you got to run some type of a screen. You got to get Wesley Matthews to switch.
Okay, like Wesley Matthews had been in his shorts all game
long.
You trying to get him free.
Like, why don't you have Robin Lopez run up and set a screen right there? How about Doug McDermott's man? Wouldn't you want Darren Williams guarding him? Wesley Matthews has given him a tough time throughout his career. Now, even though Jimmy goes out there and he gets 20-plus points, he was 5 of 12 from the field. And when he had made the previous shot before to give him 98, he got that switch. So I watched Fred Hoiberg's press conference after the game, and I understand what Fred said. He goes, I wanted to give Jimmy Butler space. That's fine. But with this particular matchup, Wesley Matthews, Jimmy Butler, they go back a long ways. You just set a screen. You get that mismatch. And once you're able to exploit that, now you got Jimmy Butler on someone else who you feel more comfortable with. I thought Fred put him in a bad spot. Yeah. Now, there are rumors that they're contentious.
Okay. And I can see why.
So you don't know what happened in that huddle.
Yep.
You get in that huddle, and Jimmy goes, give me the damn ball. Fred goes, fine, give Jimmy the ball, get him out of the way.
Yeah, the lack of creativity is very frustrating if you're a Chicago Bulls fan, because although that has worked out some, we've seen Jimmy do some phenomenal things in the fourth quarter. He's been clutch. But all it is ISO ball. That's all it is. Give Jimmy Butler the ball and get out of the way. And to your point, when you have a guy that's been D'ing him up, we need some creativity. Let's actually run something here. If you're supposed to be an offensive guy, that's why the Bulls brought in Fred Hoiberg, because he was an offensive guy. Can we get you to draw something up? Anybody can say, give Jimmy the ball and go to work, but you have to do something different at some point.
You know, we watched recently, he made a game-winning shot, and he's made a ton of them. That's why he deserved to take the last shot. But against the Brooklyn Nets, because you and I watch every Bulls game closely because we have some side bets going on here. But do you remember he was able to get that switch? You know, against Brooklyn, he was able to get that switch. I can't remember who it was, but it was a guy who was not a great defender. And I was saying, you got to run somebody at Jimmy Butler.
Yep.
You got to get that guy off of Jimmy Butler. And instead it was just like, let's get out of the way. And he left Jimmy on an island. I wonder if that's Fred Hoiberg. Now I'm kind of peeling the onion a little bit. I wonder if that's Fred Hoiberg being like, oh, you want the ball? Here's the ball.
As a coach, though, you have to be above that. Like, that would almost be kind of petty. I see what you're saying, but he's saying if Jimmy wants the ball, here, go take it. Let's see what you can do.
Well, why wouldn't you have Robin Lopez set a screen there?
I have no idea.
Why wouldn't you want the big switching on Jimmy Butler and then you have the mismatch?
I have so many questions about Fred Hoiberg and his strategy and his rotations and his coaching. We would need 30 minutes to discuss all that. I don't know where to begin.
Bad loss. Bulls lose to the Mavericks twice this year.
The Mavericks only probably have about 14 wins, and 2 of them against the Bulls. The first one, it was on the road. This one, the first one was in Dallas. This one in Chicago. That's just ridiculous.